Now we get to verse 5. He said, and the apostles said unto the Lord, increase our faith. Now, so let me read verse 6. He said, and the Lord said, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye might say unto this sycamore tree, be thou plucked up by the root, and be thou planted in the sea, and it shall obey thee. And then he goes on and talks about the servant. But look at what Jesus was teaching that brought on the question. Jesus was teaching about forgiveness. Forgiving my brother. Well, how many of you know that it takes faith to forgive somebody that many times?
Yeah.
Because we're quick to say, look, I don't have but two cheeks. He slapped me on one, I'm going to turn the other one. He slapped me on the other, that's it. I don't have another one. You know, so we kind of quick to say that. Or, you know, we'll say, well, I'm going to forgive him, but I ain't going to forget it. Or we'll say, well, you know, I'm not Jesus. Meaning that you step on me 3 times, I'm going to give you 2, and you step on me 3 times, ain't no forgiving. But Jesus went on to say 7 times in one day. So he said, but when they asked the question, when Jesus was talking about forgiveness, they asked the question, increase our faith. Jesus did not go back to forgiveness. He went on to talk about the sycamore tree. So he said, look, if you got the faith of a mustard seed, you can speak to the sycamore tree and tell it to cast itself in the sea, and it shall be done. Well, what happened to forgiveness? They asked the question based on his teaching on forgiveness. So how do we tie the two together? Which means that Jesus gave them a parable on the impossibilities. So the reason why they asked the question, they saw the impossibility of forgiving somebody that many times. Just like we do today. We see the impossibility. Look, I just can't do that, okay? Now, you don't know how many times that person have really hurt me, disrespected me, thus and such. And I just can't do this 7 times a day. But Jesus said, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can speak to this sycamore tree. Meaning that it may seem to be impossible to forgive somebody that many times, but if you have that grain of faith, then you can do the impossible. What seems to be impossible. So, how can we, and here's the comparison also, how can we expect to do great things in God? Because doing removing the sycamore tree, that's considered a great miracle. So how can we do great signs and wonders in God and not have a forgiving heart? And that's what the church really wants to do a lot of times. Oh yeah, we want to be able to lay hands on people and they be healed. We want to be able to pray for the sick and they shall recover. We want to be able to do all of these things, but we can't forgive. Not if you do it 7 times, we can't forgive to do it 1 time.
That's true.
You know? Mm-hmm. So Jesus is telling them, and then if you read on down through verse 10, let me read a little further and show you what he's talking about. Talking about increasing faith. He said, but which of you having a servant, plowing or feeding cattle, will say unto him by and by, when he is come from the field, go and sit down to meat? He said, and will not rather say unto him, make ready wherewith I may sup, and gird thyself, and serve me till I have eaten and drunken, and afterwards thou shalt eat and drink. He said, do he thank the servant because he did the things that were commanded him? I thought not. So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. All those things that commanded, ye say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do. So what he's saying is, you want your faith increases? Obey God. But we want to disobey God. We want to do all the things that we want to do. We want to go and we want to club on Friday night. We want to cuss people out on Monday. We want to talk about them on Tuesday. We come into Bible study on Wednesday, so we ain't going to do too much, so we don't want to be convicted for beginning. You know, but tomorrow is Thursday, so we got a free day before we come back on Friday. So we might just attack somebody on Thursday. Friday we're going to have a good day. And then Saturday ain't going to tell them what we going to do, because we got to come back on Sunday. Now we expect to do all of that and still have power. We expect to do all of that and still have, listen to me now. We expect to do all of that and still have a little bit of faith. Because he's talking about mustard seed faith. He's not talking about great faith. He's not talking about you shall have great faith if you obey. You shall have great faith if you do this. No, he said if you got mustard seed faith, you can do all of this. But this is what it takes, not to get great faith. This is what it takes to get mustard seed faith. And the mustard seed, another scripture says mustard seed is the smallest of seeds. So our faith has to start somewhere. And it does not start with, we're going to speak to the sycamore tree, and we're going to speak to the mountain, and we're going to speak to our situation, and the first thing we're going to do is disobey God, and the next thing we're going to do is not forgive our brother. We're unforgiving, disobedient, and we expect to have faith. That's funny. Unforgiving, disobedient, and expect to have a little bit of faith. Jesus said you can't have a little bit of faith. Being unforgiving and disobedient. And then, listen what he said. He said, look down in verse 10. He said, so likewise, when ye shall have done all these things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do. Here we go. We say that God is not with us when we call ourselves exercising our faith. Right? So we blame it on God that we call ourselves exercising faith and things ain't turning out like we thought it would turn out. But we blame it on God, but it truly stems from disobedience and unforgiveness. But we blame God for not coming through for us. Because he just said,